As an educator dealing with high school, middle school age students, do you notice a change in the social pressures and bullying?
I believe the frequency of the social pressures has probably increased due to a lot more avenues of how the pressures would build with students, where students would spend more time probably at home doing outdoor activities with a smaller group of students that they would normally be with. The small neighborhood kind of setting now has expanded to a much bigger audience and interacting with students. So that would probably allow for more avenues to increase the bullying opportunities.
Do you think kids are bolder online than they are in person?
They're much bolder online than they are face-to-face. I think a lot of the emotions when you're online just aren't there when you're not speaking to someone personally. You're not seeing that person's face and their reactions on their facial expressions. Once they become face-to-face and see each other, you see them back off a lot more, and you try and find adults. They come to many of us in this building who they want to get to help then rectify the situation they get themselves into.
How do you try to address it at your school?
Every situation is different. Every situation we handle individually, because we don't know if it's a group of students, we don't know if it's between two close friends who have now gone into an argument. We don't know if it's between people that don't know each other. It's hearsay, he said, she said stuff, the drama. So everything's handled individually. We've had situations where we handled between two girls who were best friends forever, but because of cyberbullying, because what other people have now said, have created a situation with the two. We've also handled situations where we've had 20, 25 kids called down, and we'll talk to them as a group and then individually, because they joined a group that was bothering another student. So it depends on each individual situation.
Do you ever get parents who say, we're going to talk to a parent who believes that her school, and obviously she doesn't go here, but her school didn't do enough, the administrators don't do enough. Right. Are there challenges for you guys when you have this happening, not necessarily all the time in school, and then seeing it play out in school as an administrator?
I'm a parent myself, and we do get very emotional when it comes to our children. That's human nature. But we tell them all the time, we need you to be an advocate for your child. We need you to stick up for your child. We need you to be there so that the students understand how important those ties are and that we're all working together, because their goal is the same as our goal. They want them to succeed. We want them to succeed. You go through classes. One of the most important things about schooling is you learn that you need to provide a safe, welcoming, nurturing environment. You need students engaged. It's all about student engagement. If a student is not feeling safe, secure, if they're not willing to be open-minded in the classroom due to whatever the situation, whether it's a situation at home, whether it's bullying, any other kind of situation like that, they're not going to be doing that well academically, and that's the major concern. So we make sure that we are working with parents. Parents understand that they want their children to grow up, have honors, go on to college so they can be successful and get a decent job. If they're having problems in school, we want to make sure we address them and move forward, because we're really looking out for the same interests.
Are there things you look for? And with kids, I know they don't always talk about bullying. Are there things that teachers and parents should look for?
I think students nowadays come to the adults, especially in the schools, because schools really, I know especially here in East Providence, really are a safe haven. And they come right to us. We have guidance counselors, we have administrators, teachers, advisory. Advisory is a big portion that is part of a day where students have one teacher for the entire time they're within a school setting, get to know that one person so that kids don't fall through the crack. That's a big part of advisory. Secondary schools, we all have them in Rhode Island. They're able to talk to an adult. We get the information pretty quickly so that we are able to address a lot of these issues.
Now, as an educator, I'm sure you heard about the girl in Massachusetts who committed suicide after, bullying for months. She was an immigrant, new to the school.
Yep.
What was your reaction when you heard that, and what, as a parent, as an educator, and how did that make you look at certain things here differently?
I think you're always looking to be proactive. You're always looking to readjust and making sure you're doing things as best you can with the resources you have. As a parent, it's very troubling. As an educator, it's very troubling. We want to make sure, as I said earlier, that you want to address things when they're small. You want to make sure you get to a point where you can alleviate or end the problem before it grows. So that's something that just reassures us of the positive things that we've done to make sure that we don't have any of those big issues. But you can't always guarantee that.
How do you tell that to a parent? How do you say, teachers are trying to be proactive?
Communication. We do a lot of communicating to parents, whether it's school communications, we have a Wildcat communicator, whether it's phone calls home, whether it's emails, whether it's orientation nights where we're bringing people in. We do PTO meetings. We do a lot of stuff so that we have avenues for parents can bring issues to us or we can bring issues to them. And it's the communication back and forth that's so important.
So overall, would you say from the school's perspective, you guys, when you notice bullying, even before it escalates, you're just trying to be proactive? Is that the role of the administrator?
Yeah. Catch things while it's small. Yeah, absolutely.
And do you always catch them when they're small?
I think students really come to adults more so now that we do, I would say we do for the most part, get to many of them before they do escalate. We do hear and try and get to it and communicate. And most of the time, just getting them face to face is so important because then they're able to talk to each other without getting information as hearsay. And they get to be able to solve it themselves, and usually most of the time that works out. So I would say yes.